What happens when a celebrity's private information crosses the line from being discussed online to being publicly exposed? In Xiao Zhan's latest case, the issue is no longer simply about online controversy or fan arguments. According to the information provided, legal action has now been formally initiated over the alleged malicious disclosure of Xiao Zhan's private information, and that changes the conversation completely. On August 27, Xiao Zhan's studio, through a law firm, released a case update concerning internet users who allegedly disclosed his private information maliciously on an online platform. The statement says that a lawsuit has formally been filed with the court against the relevant users. That is the central fact we can establish from the material provided. Xiao Zhan's studio has authorized lawyers to take legal action over the alleged disclosure of his privacy information. The matter has therefore moved beyond online discussion and into a legal process. But there is an important distinction here. The legal allegations described in the statement are not the same thing as a final court judgment. At this stage, we should not present the accused users as legally guilty. The court process is precisely what must determine responsibility. The most serious part of the discussion concerns the alleged publication of personal identification information, including an ID number. The provided legal commentary asks a straightforward question: what could happen when someone directly publishes another person's identification number online? According to lawyer Li Junwu, who is identified in the supplied information as an entertainment law specialist, the consequences can potentially involve both administrative and criminal liability, depending on the circumstances. Under the legal explanation provided, spreading another person's private information may result in administrative punishment under the relevant provisions of China's Public Security Administration Punishments Law. The material states that certain violations involving the dissemination of private information may lead to detention of up to 5 days or a fine of up to 500 yuan. In more serious circumstances, the stated penalty can increase to detention of more than 5 days and up to 10 days, potentially accompanied by a fine of up to 500 yuan. But the issue becomes considerably more serious if the conduct meets the legal threshold for a criminal offense. The supplied legal commentary says that publicly exposing another person's information could potentially constitute the act of providing citizens' personal information. If the circumstances reach the legally defined standard of serious circumstances, it could constitute the crime of infringing upon citizens' personal information. That distinction is extremely important. Fact does not mean that every online disclosure automatically becomes a criminal case. The provided information itself emphasizes the importance of the circumstances and the serious circumstances threshold. Therefore, it would be misleading to tell viewers that simply posting private information always results in criminal prosecution. What makes this Xiao Zhan case particularly significant is the type of information reportedly involved. An identification number is not simply another piece of celebrity gossip. Personal identification information can have serious privacy and security implications. Once sensitive information is placed online, controlling its further distribution can become extremely difficult. And that is where the story becomes bigger than Xiao Zhan himself. In the entertainment industry, celebrities constantly face public attention. Their performances, appearances, fashion choices, endorsements, and professional activities can all become subjects of discussion. But public visibility does not automatically mean that every piece of personal information becomes public property. That is an important opinion to consider when looking at this case. A celebrity can have an enormous public profile while still retaining legal rights to privacy and personal information. The fact that someone is famous does not, by itself, establish permission for strangers to expose sensitive personal data. At the same time, viewers should be careful not to turn the legal action into another form of online conflict. This is where fan reaction becomes important, but also where caution is necessary. The material provided does not give us verified statistics, specific fan comments, or a complete picture of how Xiao Zhan's entire fan community has responded. So we should not invent claims about what all fans think or suggest that a particular reaction represents the whole fandom. What we can say is that the case naturally raises concerns about the boundaries between public interest, celebrity discussion, and personal privacy. People may disagree strongly about entertainment news, but disagreement does not automatically justify publishing someone's sensitive personal information. There is also a civil law dimension to the situation. According to the information provided, under China's Civil Code, the illegal buying, selling, or public disclosure of another person's identification number can potentially infringe upon privacy rights and personal information rights. The material states that an infringer may face civil responsibilities such as stopping the infringement, making an apology, and compensating for losses, potentially including property losses and compensation for emotional distress. Again, these are legal possibilities described in the supplied information, not a statement that every one of these consequences has already been imposed in Xiao Zhan's case. That distinction matters because the public often moves much faster than the legal system. Online, a screenshot can circulate within minutes. A claim can be repeated thousands of times before anyone checks whether it is accurate. But a court must consider evidence, responsibility, applicable law, and the specific circumstances of a case. So what happens next? That remains unknown from the information provided. We do not have a final court judgment. We do not have the complete case file. We do not have a confirmed ruling explaining whether the accused users will ultimately be found liable, nor do we have confirmed details about any final punishment. Those unknowns should remain unknown until reliable legal information becomes available. And this is perhaps the most interesting part of the entire story. The Xiao Zhan case could become a reminder that celebrity privacy is not merely an issue for entertainment headlines. It can also become a question of legal boundaries in the digital age. When someone is famous, millions of people may know their name, recognize their face, and follow their professional activities. But that does not necessarily extend to sensitive personal information that was never intended for public circulation. From an opinion standpoint, the strongest lesson here is not about choosing sides between Xiao Zhan and internet users. It is about understanding the difference between criticism and exposure, between public discussion and personal data disclosure, and between online accusations and legal conclusions. The legal action reported on August 27 therefore deserves attention precisely because it moves the conversation into a different arena. This is no longer simply about what people are saying online. It is about what the law may consider an unacceptable invasion of personal information, and where that boundary is drawn. For now, the most responsible position is to separate fact from assumption. Xiao Zhan's studio, through lawyers, has reportedly initiated legal proceedings over the alleged malicious disclosure of his private information. Legal experts cited in the provided material describe possible administrative, criminal, and civil consequences depending on the circumstances. But the final outcome remains to be determined. So rather than turning this into another fan war, perhaps the better question is much broader. In an age when almost everything can be photographed, posted, and shared within seconds, where should we draw the line between a celebrity's public life and their right to privacy? What do you think that boundary should look like, and should being famous ever change how much personal privacy someone is entitled to? Share your thoughts respectfully in the comments.